Hi, hello, good morning. This is my video for the 2nd of March 2024. I know I should have done it yesterday. I seem to be lapsing on my videos. But yesterday I had an extra family day this week. It was fantastic to have all of my children under one household. And I know everyone's probably thinking, but you're a mom, how can you not have all your children 365 days a year? 7 days a week. Unfortunately, my middle child has autism. And yes, he has finally been diagnosed. And what's actually happening is it's putting a lot of strain on his older brother. And I know a lot of people might think, well, that shouldn't be happening. Well, it does. And so in order to support the health and well-being of my whole entire family, me and my children's father separated not long after my second child was born. It was probably the hardest decision I had to make, but because of the mental, physical, and emotional strain it was putting on everyone, it was the only choice we had. Unfortunately, getting a diagnosis for any illness or disability doesn't happen overnight. It's all good and well people saying, well, if you pay for it, you can get it. But then you're then faced with the criticism of, well, you paid for a diagnosis. How do we know that you've not paid that little bit extra to basically get your medical records falsified? So we went through the system painstakingly, and it's been confirmed that my son does have autism. We're still waiting for an ADHD assessment for him as well. But what I've been finding with my son is when he isn't with his brother so much, that his stress, his emotional well-being, his anger issues, the way he sleeps, the way he eats, everything about him is a lot more calmer and serene. Now, there is obviously negative backlash to this, is that my worry is that he's not going to be able to cope under pressure as he gets older. But there's a difference between having to cope with the pressures of society and then being put under that much pressure that you can't cope at all. And I know a lot of people are probably saying, but he's his brother, how can he not cope with him? Well, unfortunately, everybody has that pressure point and that breaking point, and everybody's different. Everyone is unique in their own way. And there are people that can cope. But realistically, a lot of people will say to me, oh God, I can only be with your child for an hour. Anything longer than an hour, I feel like I'm losing my mind. And it's true. Even myself, I struggle. So again, when we're talking about additional things people need in life, not just things you need, food, warmth, and shelter, but then when we're talking about your mental health and your well-being, things that you then need in order to function on a daily basis, 8 hours sleep, eating regularly, having time for you. Anyone who is a parent or a carer for another person, or even an animal, or, have that extra level of responsibility. School teachers, managers of a business, and you have that responsibility that or you've chosen to have for 365 days of the year, 7 days a week, especially when you're a parent. It doesn't end once your child becomes 18. You are always going to be the parent of that child. Obviously, by the time they're 18, you expect that and hope that they have learnt the skills that are necessary to then take care of themselves. But up until that point, you are responsible for that child. And it isn't easy, and it does take a village to raise a child. And unfortunately, it is very, very hard. And when the attitude in society and the support networks are not there, it makes it a lot harder. And with my son especially, he is mentally and physically exhausting to be around 365 days a year, 7 days a week. And I'm an adult. So to expect my 10-year-old son to, get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, go to school, which he didn't for a while, come back at 3 in the afternoon, do his homework, have his dinner, bath, bed. When you've got somebody who is taller than you, almost, twice the size of you, with, I wouldn't like to say he has a limited vocabulary, because my son does speak, but is very repetitive in his verbal communication. And literally from the moment they wake up, not you, they wake up, they do not have an off switch. And it is mentally and physically exhausting to be around someone who constantly needs to touch you, who constantly needs to talk to you, who constantly needs to touch things. And with my little boy, one of the reasons he didn't like going to school was because he was worried that when he got home, that all of his toys would be broken. And as his parents, we had to reassure him that wasn't going to happen. But we take our eyes off my son for 2 seconds, and he's upstairs and he's pulling drawers out of cupboards, he's throwing stuff around the room. It probably takes me 2 days to clear up after my son. It's like having a tornado go through the house. And he is constantly sensory seeking. We actually have now been told, although no one would admit to saying this to us, that he's too disabled to go to mainstream, but he's not disabled enough to go to an SEN school. So we homeschool him. And even homeschooling him, it is so tiring, because I'm constantly having to feed that stimulation. And even though, I'll say to him, okay, we're going to have some downtime now, I need you to lie down, close your eyes, breathe in, breathe out, just so that I can have 5 minutes to myself. He cannot do that. He physically cannot have that level of concentration, no matter how many times we've tried to teach him to have it. So today, and obviously yesterday, would have been about obviously mental health and well-being. We have no technology day on a Sunday at my house. But the other thing I wanted to mention was back up your work. Oh my God. My laptop did a update, and it is now removed everything on my laptop. I'm talking work that has been on there for almost a decade. Yes, I don't go out and buy a new laptop every 2 years. And I am devastated. It might not seem like I am because I'm tired, but I just couldn't believe it. I was trying to find some photos of my kids. I was trying to update my book that I'm trying to get finished, and they're not on there. Luckily, I have backed up some of my stuff in the past, and I have a few friends who are more tech savvy than me. So they're going to have a look at it for me over the next couple of days. But if this is what's going to keep happening every time I have to update something on my laptop, make sure you back everything up before you do an update. Sorry, I'm biting my nails. I do that when I'm nervous. So, yes, please, please, please update your work. Back it up. And remember that out of everything in life, try and stay safe, well, and happy. Thank you.